Hey, what's happening, Cincinnati soccer talkers? Welcome to another edition of the FCC Watch Along. Glad you're with us here on this Sunday evening as FC Cincinnati play host to DC United and what hopefully will be a turnaround of what is a terrible Sunday in Cincinnati if you're a fan of Cincinnati sports. I'm Subs, glad to be with you as always, whether it's this watch along or podcast. It's just a great time to be talking about Cincinnati soccer here tonight and what should be an entertaining match between FC Cincinnati and DC United. I am really pleased to be joined this week. I will start with our own resident coach, Coach Brad Goff. Coach, how's it going, buddy?
Happy to be here. I just feel a little underdressed. I didn't realize this was formal attire night here in FC Cincinnati land. I would have tried to up my game a bit.
Well, it's formal attire night because we are really excited to have with us. You know him, you love him, Mr. Geoff Tebbetts. Jeff, you look great in your suit. It's not the same as seeing you in person, but we'll deal with it.
It's the best you can do with with what's going on in this world. But hey, I wanted to break out the suit one time at least, before the end of the season.
Well, we're glad you brought it out with us tonight. What are your thoughts heading into this match between FC Cincinnati and DC?
It's good to have momentum in any form. Even the 0-0 draws that you had at Nippert for quite some time, you were able to say that you weren't letting goals in. So any momentum is good momentum right now.
Absolutely. And Coach, this is a game that on paper looks like this should be a winnable one for the Orange and Blue.
It's tough to say on paper because you look at, current and recent past form and DC United hasn't been doing great. But also DC United is a talented team. And if you look at overall roster spend, if you look at league experience and all those things, actually man for man on paper, DC United has a better roster. Now, whether they're better coached, whether their roster is living up to expectations more or less than FC Cincinnati, those are all the things we get to find out tonight.
All right, as we get set to watch these two teams play here at Nippert Stadium, good news, gentlemen, the flags and banners are back up. So all is resumed to normal back at Nippert Stadium. Obviously, DC United with an interim coach with Ben Olsen getting the axe earlier this month. Probably, if you're a DC United fan, long overdue. So it's really tough to know what we're going to see out of DC United. DC United obviously coming off a draw this week, midweek against the Philadelphia Union, actually had the lead late. The Union had to have what was a rocket of a shot in late in that match to come back and tie with DC United. And of course, we know FC Cincinnati got the big 3 points in Hell is Real midweek against the Columbus Crew. So as we wait for things to kick off here, Coach, why don't you give us a little prediction?
Well, for the Growler Cup, I picked a 1-1 draw, and I think that's pretty fair. I think both of these teams are going to want to really feel like this game is winnable, and I think they're both going to want to prove to their fan bases that they're not bottom of the barrel here. So I think it's going to be a bit cagey. I really think that FC Cincinnati has what it takes to win this match, but that Kubo injury is worrisome to me because having a guy, one talented player, really talented player like Joe Zhao to come off the bench late in a match can be so helpful. And I just look at FC Cincinnati's bench and I just don't know if they need a goal late or if they need to hold on to a lead or something. I don't know where that talent's coming from.
How about you, Jeff? You got a prediction?
It's hard to say. I tend to look at like I said, momentum in terms of how a team is doing right now. DC United, they know that their season's probably for a lost cause. You take a look at some of these losses they've had on the road: a 4-1 loss against NYC, and then they lost 2-1 at Chicago. I think they've got something to prove, but I don't think they've got enough in the tank. I think they're also just as gassed as we are. So I'm going to say a 2-1 victory for us.
And not only that, they had to travel today to Cincinnati for this match. So maybe there's an added plus there. Let's go over the lineups, shall we, Coach? Specifically the FC Cincinnati lineup. One Jimmy McLaughlin listed as one of the subs today. Not sure if we will see him in action, but what do you make of the game day roster that FC Cincinnati is putting out tonight?
Yeah, a couple things that I was interested in about it. I was a bit interested that we didn't see some of these players that we heard were back to training, even make an appearance on the bench. Could a guy like a Jurgen Locadia have been 15 minutes fit to come in at the end of the match if the team is chasing a goal? Those sorts of things. So that's what surprised me. Obviously, it's a youthful bench. You have guys like McCabe and Dom, Jimmy, not just youthful in age, but also youthful in experience. So that'll be the really interesting thing is late in the match, who Stam chooses to go to. Does he try to stick with guys like Caleb Stanko and the veterans, or does he give some of these young guys some MLS minutes?
What stood out to you, Jeff?
I think in general, in terms of our lineup, if it's not broke, don't fix it. In some cases it is broke a little bit with Kubo being out and with Cruz being out, but you're replacing them with some pretty good pieces that have at least been dependable and they had some time off. I like the way that we're setting up. I am a little worried about the defense being as healthy as not healthy as they are. But if we can get something big out of Pedersen and Hagelin in the back, I think that's really what you need.
Bobby Edwards getting his second straight start between the pipes for the orange and blue, as well as we look at the DC United lineup. Flores, Ken Hetker in our chat room, quick to point out that he has returned for DC United. They've got all kinds of issues as far as their roster go. Of course, they're missing Paul Arriola for the whole season when he tore his ACL earlier in the year. They're still a pretty talented squad on paper. So if FC Cincinnati is not on the ball tonight, they could find themselves down a couple goals here real early on. But in that midfield three, we've got Madunya, Ninamaya, and Mokocho. And so I'm really interested to see how that works. Is that going to be more of a double pivot, coach, or are we going to see a single pivot here?
I think that it'll end up being a double pivot with Madunian and Makocho. But what will be interesting to me is less how much both of those guys hang back, because I expect that to happen, and more, does Amaya do a lot of tracking back and flatten that midfield out into a flat three like we saw early when the team was playing 5-3-2? Or does Amaya really try to stick up there close to Vasquez for the ability to combine with the big forward and see if he can knock down and get on some of those second balls that Vasquez knocks down?
Jeff, do you have the ability to pause your match if need be?
I don't think so. I think I'm basically as is right now.
Are you over the air?
I'm over the air, yes.
Okay. All right. So you may be slightly ahead of Coach and I then tonight.
All right. I'll try to keep myself I'll bite my tongue when I need to.
All right.
Or
right
just
now,
celebrate and complain in expletives, and then we'll just know that we won't know whether it's good or bad. We'll just know something happened.
players currently taking the knee now in support of Black Lives Matter on my screen. I don't know where you're at, Coach.
Yep, same.
Okay. All right. So we'll try to get as close as we can on the timeline as possible. If you're watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, we appreciate you tuning in. Do us a favor. And what are your predictions for tonight's match? Let us know tonight here in the comments as we get set to go here. Kickoff now underway at Nippert Stadium. So now we can relax and just watch along and see how this goes. Andrew Gutman back. He didn't start midweek, did he?
Yes.
Did he? Okay.
He came off halfway through the game. That's
right, because Joe Jow played a little left back.
Right.
Came back with about 25, came off with 25 minutes left, which was a surprising move because there was a guy like Zico Bailey on the bench. So it was interesting that Jow slid back to play left back, but it kind of shows Stam trusts him back there.
I mean, Goodman was scheduled to take some time. I don't think he was scheduled to do a full 90 minutes at all.
I forgot this was the Flow Derby. Flow TV Derby. Forgot all about that.
That'd be great. Loser has to sign a contract with Flow for 1 year, get these guys motivated to play. Actually, they probably don't care.
Did either of you get Flow Sports?
Coach did for a brief moment, didn't you?
No,
you never did it.
I borrowed somebody else's, only to watch replays for the purpose of breaking down the match for articles.
Gotcha. I never had it either.
Yeah. It just didn't seem like it was convenient at the time or for, the purposes.
Kevin in the chat room saying 1-1 draw tonight. And what's up, Tom? He says, "Hey fellas, come on UFCC." One thing we did see in the middle of the week is we saw FC Cincinnati score a first half goal for just the second time all season long. Let's hope that they can replicate that here tonight against DC. Oh, almost there with Nicky. Was that Nicky Hags?
No, I think that was
Vasquez. Wow.
Yeah, you guys are both ahead of me. I just now saw that Vasquez header. So
okay, I'm way ahead of both of you then. So.
Yeah, you are. I'm streaming, and so is Coach. You're streaming too, right?
I am, and it looks like I'm about 6 or 7 seconds behind you.
All right, I'm at 210.
I am at a replay, so I don't know.
Oh.
204.
Okay.
I'm about 220, 225. Yeah.
So that's not too bad. It's been worse.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good because you guys can see something happen and then you can ask me about it and I can watch it in real time and comment on it.
What that call was. Now, is Hamid still injured? I didn't see him on the full 18.
You know what? I didn't even know if he was hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know either. I know he was supposed to be back, but I don't know why, like if he had a setback or if he's back, but they just preferred to stay with sites or what.
Yeah, he wasn't in the game last against Philly. So they, as much as you want to say stay with the hot hand, maybe they just want to try Sates out a little bit more.
It's interesting, you know, with DC United lined up in a 4-4-2, I thought we'd see them press FC Cincinnati quite a bit more. You know, typically one of the benefits of going with a 4-4-2 is it allows you to press really easily with those two forwards, get like kind of a hybrid press where you can press really hard with your two forwards, but let your midfielders kind of sit back. We haven't seen that yet.
It's so weird seeing Giao on the left. I only saw the last 10 minutes of the game against the Crew, so you guys have a little bit more familiarity than I do.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird to see him over there.
I think he's better on the left because his end product is so poor. I'd rather him be cutting in field to be able to look for just a simple pass or maybe even a shot. I mean, his right-footed crosses just have been might as well be left-footed crosses anyway.
Well, they're getting a lot of good pressure here. That's, I think, the second corner kick of the night coming up.
There you go.
I think Tom started on the sauce a little early, fellas, if you see that comment.
3-1. Yeah.
The late hat trick, huh?
Stoppage time. By the way, I just have to say, what is it with all these Spurs fans getting on these shows lately? We got the Weigels, coach, and now you, Jeff. Come on.
You know what? I could call up Bob Brunsberg and see if he's available. Yeah. I look like a ball on Pedersen, maybe.
The saying you're looking for is misery loves company, Subs.
Gotcha.
That's why
you got a rough day not only with the Bengals and the Spurs.
Yeah. Spurs fans tend to flock together for that reason.
See, I mean, I'm originally from the Massachusetts area back in the old days when teams like the Red Sox and the Patriots were horrendous. And so the whole misery love company thing fits with me. You know, maybe that's why I feel comfortable in Cincinnati right now.
That's funny. You say that, but then, you know, New England went on to have like the best 20-year run of like their history.
Was that after you left, Jeff? If that's the case, you can move away from Cincinnati anytime you want, man.
The funny thing was the first time that the Patriots were in the Super Bowl, I was over in Japan working as a teacher over there. So I had to refresh this crickety old internet, you know, dial in internet, trying to get results. So it was like, it feels like, yeah, they won, but they didn't win.
Yeah. Tell you what, one of the things I miss most from being at the match is always having to just have the one camera angle while I'm watching. I always want to see like what the rest of the midfielders are doing and things. how close is Frankie sticking up there to Vasquez and that sort of thing. But half the time I can't see because you can only follow the ball with this camera.
I mean, it looks like right now it's Camo and Medunian sort of falling in the back, and even am I maybe getting up there close as a second striker sometimes?
I mean, certainly in like the defensive setup, he seems to be pushing higher, but that's not terribly unique. It's when that ball gets deep in the FC Cincinnati defensive third, watching what he does is what I'm really interested in.
One thing I hope that this match differs from the last time DC United came to Cincinnati. It's the first match of the hometown restart, if I'm not mistaken, and it was a 0-0. Oof.
No hablo español muy bueno. Lo siento. Sorry, that was from a comment for those of you who are wondering why I'm speaking broken Spanish.
Sorry, Luis. My AP Spanish, and I still couldn't tell you how to say I'm sorry.
Lo siento.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it translates directly to I'm sorry, but that's how you say it in Spanish.
Something like I feel for you, or
something like that. Lo siento.
Well, maybe Jeff can say it in Japanese.
Gomennasai.
Not sure that'll help Luis.
I've been told that like Japanese and Spanish are actually pretty close to each other in terms of pronunciation.
Huh.
Like whenever people have been trying to learn English and Spanish in Japan, the degree of learning is much faster in Spanish.
Really?
Yeah.
See, these are things you wouldn't get on a normal watch along without Jeff being here. So absolutely.
Imagine how much better Tommy and Kevin would be if they've dropped insights like the differences and likenesses between Spanish and Japanese.
I mean, by now we would have just had Clay references, musicals.
Or talking about like old Spurs players that even I don't want to hear about anymore.
I'm going to hear about that comment, I'm sure.
Like DC's got their first corner kick of the game. Flores in the corner.
Sounds like Jaap Stam is being really vocal on the sidelines, what I'm hearing, really trying to position the players, really moving them around, being really active from a coaching standpoint. So I wonder if that means he doesn't feel like they're playing well or if he's just trying to keep them mentally sharp.
There you go, Bobby.
Yeah. Good job by Bobby there.
Ken Hetger in our CST Slack chat is saying he really likes Joe Zhao being on the left, playing inverted. So we'll see if it pays off.
Now, is Barreal normally on the right side, or is he sort of like both sides of the coin?
He is left-footed, but he plays on the right. For FC Cincinnati, that's the only place he's played so far. In his career, I'm not totally sure. I could look that up, though. But I believe that he's mostly a right-sided player.
Oh, Frankie
drawing the foul, though.
He's been on the turf quite a bit already. Quite a bit. Let's see if Medunian can.
That's where Frankie's
serve one.
Get that up, guys.
That's where Frankie's lacking as a 10 there is that that pass into Vasquez, like his fine passing and his tight angle passing like that really needs to improve for him to push forward and be, any sort of dominant force in the attacking part of the field.
Foul on Joe.
Oh, geez, Joe.
Yeah, that was just, I think, crazy legs from both sort of knocking into each other there.
It looks like Barreal for Velez played a lot of left and right. So looks like he can play on either side. About 50-50 in Argentina. So interesting that Stam has played him exclusively on the right, and just must mean that that's, inverted wingers is not an uncommon thing to play with in a 4-3-3, wanting the wingers to come inside to create that area out wide for your outside backs to run into.
Some good pinballing action that almost got Vasquez up the middle.
Yeah, just a step off.
So do we have, Vasquez at this point, probably, I don't remember who was on the bench, but he's really our only striker available, right?
Yeah, unless they choose to move Zhao inside, there are no other forwards, not even, and the only other offensive piece on the bench is Jimmy.
Yeah. I don't think they'd have him exclusively up top, especially not after what he's gone through.
Put Jimmy in as a second striker.
Well, I think if you were going, I think the only thing that you'd want to do
Dally on the
is
bench.
put Dally is there. That's right.
Thanks, Daniel.
trying to
Appreciate
think.
it. Oh, there are DC already making a sub. It looks like.
Was it a sub or was it changing out a jersey?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's just changing jerseys, Subs.
Did he get blood on her or something?
Must be. Maybe he just didn't like it. Was a little too tight. It was showing off his man parts too much.
I'm not a fan of the DC United jerseys anyways. I'd do the same thing.
Do you guys have this in more of like an off-white? And this is exactly what I expected from this match when I said that I thought it'd be a little bit cagey. It's like both teams seem to be playing, not fully offensively. Like both teams worried about making mistakes and giving up a counterattack. Neither team committing real numbers to the attack with any real force. But I would say through the first almost 15 minutes now, FC Cincinnati probably looks like they've had the best of it, but not by a ton.
We are starting to see, I think, some good communication between Camo and Medunjanin. It seems to me that, Camo's making some good conversation out there.
FCC is leading in possession, 55-45 or so. And 2 shots to 0, although neither were on target. So
is DePlon still hurt?
Yeah, he's not even on the bench.
He was obviously a big focal point of, how should we say, FCC criticism for this season. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. I think part of it is he got a little lost in, I think, the conversation when it came to replacing the back line and who gets priority between Pedersen and Van der Werf. I think we all thought that he was going to be that guy on the right, and then he really didn't perform up to expectations.
Yeah,
I think
you also have to remember he was a Koch guy.
The problem with Deplan is mental, in my opinion. When he's tuned in playing well, he's a good player. The problem is he has these big mental mistakes where he just totally doesn't follow a runner, or he pivots inside and makes a terrible pass and then goes and chases the ball for a tackle and gets out of position or commits a foul, those sorts of things. It's like with him, it's a lack of focus or concentration, in my opinion.
Good job by Hag right there.
Yeah, but he's an older guy too. So older meaning it's not like he's a rookie. So that's not something, I think as a coach, you look at a guy that has big mental lapses. If he's a young guy, you think maybe he'll work through it. But a guy with his experience and age, you're not expecting, I think, that to get better.
That offensive attack from DC should not have happened. Vasquez has to win that ball there, or at least put the guy down.
The lack of FC Cincinnati fouling in transition is still something, especially with a guy like Stam as your head coach. I will never understand To me, even when I coached high school girls, they knew better. If the other team got in transition, like the foul immediately until the ref starts throwing cards. Every time they get in transition, you put them down, slow the ball down, slow the play down. And 50% of the time, if you tell your players to go in and foul in transition, they're just going to win the ball cleanly because they're going after it anyway. So. I always thought part of the problem there is your number 6 is typically a guy you rely on for a foul in transition like that. And our number 6, Medunjanin, is just not mobile enough to catch the player to foul him. But you see players like Vasquez in that last point be close enough to grab a guy's shoulder or to kind of try to knock him off his path and just not do it. And I just do not understand.
Oh, come on, Joe. I like Zhao sometimes, but that type of play right there where he, instead of controlling it and doing something with the ball, he ends up clunking it back in towards the box.
You got away with one there.
Yeah. I think if DC United had, I think, more of an offensive attack, they probably could have really hurt them right there with a one-time shot on goal.
Wonder if the turf is slick, because we saw a few moments ago Edwards trying to clear a ball. He slipped.
They got that new watering machine, that water cannon. The last home game, or 2 home games ago, was the first time they used it. And I've heard a couple people who have been on the pitch complain that they think that they're overwatering it now. It's definitely wetter than it was when they were using the hoses.
Is that something that it sort of needs to be wetter for a UC football game?
I don't think so. I would doubt that UC football would water it down at all. That the FC Cincinnati waters it not for the purpose of anything but getting the ball to move quicker on the turf. Try to play it more like grass. But once you water it too much, then you lose some footing, and also the ball can slow down a little bit if there's softer spots on the turf. I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't know if American football waters turf at all. I just wouldn't assume so because the ball is not on the ground. So I don't know what the purpose there would be.
I would think they would not want it wet because it's just going to be easier to tear up.
Abraham, we got word that Kendall Waston picked up an injury in training prior to the last match. And I think that's all we know. I don't know if you guys know anything else about Kendall.
No,
just I think that they said it was a groin, maybe. But it sounded like just like a muscle tweak. I personally am glad he's not back. I know what he can do. I'm not saying I don't want him to ever play again, but I want to see this partnership of Haglund and Pedersen together, because Haglund, I think, has been really good the past few matches. And Pedersen, yet we haven't seen him play in a 4-back other than this last match. So I think this is the kind of stuff.
Clearance by Haglund?
Yeah, just right when I said it. You guys should warn me, like give me the right when I start saying something good about Haglund if he's already done something bad. And that was an awkward ball, though. It bounced funny. I think that's a little bit on Edwards. Edwards should have given him a shout and let it bounce through to him.
They're having problems getting it out of this final third. I think the last 2-3 possessions that DC's had, they've been able to reset pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's almost like we need Makocho or Harris to start grabbing this game by the scruff of the neck and just calming everybody down. And
yeah, lots of flailing legs. FC Cincinnati can't get out of their own half for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting going back to the whole thing with Waston. They talk about the absentees on the website. His name doesn't come up in terms of recovering from injuries. I'm wondering if this is a little bit more serious than what it might be. Or if it's just a misprint and they forgot to put his name down there.
Well, he's the captain. I would hope not. But
Jeff,
Maybe it
do you
is a
mean
pretty
his
serious injury.
do you mean his name's not down as somebody who is recovering, or
I'm
like
looking
are
at
you saying that
the names that they have down: Cruz, Deplan, Garza, Kubo, Locadia, Ritchie, Teton, and Vanderwerf are all recovering from injuries. They don't have Waston's name down there, and they pretty much don't mention him in this at all.
the interesting thing about that sort of information is it's impossible to really know because the MLS is so tight-lipped. But it could be something like he ended up having to travel for a personal issue and now he's quarantining, so they're just not going to include him in the game day roster and not tell us why.
What happened there? Looked like it was going to be a throw-in, and then somehow the ball got kicked, and now it's a corner kick.
What? The ball was out of bounds. Even I could see that.
I think it was out of bounds, but I think in the next play, somehow it got deflected off an FCC player, and now it's a corner.
Yeah, the camera cut away and the ball was put back into play and then went out. Daniel, I really doubt that there's a potential deal for Waston. I mean, just at his age and salary, I don't know how he seems like a player that's not movable to me, but I could be totally wrong on that. I also don't know that there's much precedent in MLS for players not being, put in the game day squad because they're getting ready to be traded.
Zhao with a quick shot on goal after he had dribbled it up the field, and I think he had gotten Abdul Salam on the outside.
Okay, shot on target.
Oh, Joe.
All right.
Lots of screen there. He might have been hoping for a deflection.
Yeah, that was a well-worked break. I mean, for him to find out left Abdul Salam, whoever he found out there. Makocho, yep. And then for him to come back in and find the ball and shoot through a crowd to get it on frame, I think that's a well-worked break.
He did well to keep that ball in control, too. He was getting pressure both early and late in that dribble.
Yeah, the only thing you'd like to see is him put that ball on the turf for a shot, make it bounce into the keeper and make the keeper try to handle it off the ground, as opposed to hitting it, hand level, so to speak.
Man, Barrial is quick.
He's one of those guys that I hear live looks even better. Like you can just tell his quality.
I'm getting a good look at sort of how he embraces the defensive side. It looks like he tends to turn his body sort of towards one side when he's approaching somebody, but he's pretty quick and on his feet in terms of hopping.
I love to see him on the ball, dude. The ball just sticks to his feet. He can dribble, and he's got that quickness, that ability to explode with a bit of acceleration.
Another turnover from Abdul Salam.
Well, we had one before that with Gutman.
Yeah. It feels like that's the only way that DC United is in this game, that we're making our own mistakes for that.
I agree with that one. I'm trying to think, though. How many shots on target do they have?
They have none so far. They've got one shot off target and I think a block, but so far a lot of those crosses have been either they missed the header or someone like Hagelin was there to sort of deflect it away. Good work here. Shot on goal. Tight angle for Vasquez.
And you're way ahead of us. Holy cow. It's a good ball from Makocho. Oh, all right. I think I'd rather see him get that and maybe try to dribble in front of his defender, maybe draw that foul there instead of shooting it.
Yeah, I think that's a wasted opportunity. Like from that angle, I mean, he side-footed it. Like, I think that he's got to try to hold that ball up, cut it back out, and bring the rest of the team into it, unless he sees the keeper cheating one way or the other.
First yellow.
Is that a red? Oh,
that's a high yellow. Assad, I think, brought his spikes up a little bit, but he might have gotten away with it.
I want to see a replay.
Would VAR come up with this? I don't know.
Ken loves VAR.
No, it's a low slide. He might have got him with a spike, but I don't think it's a 2-footed slide.
Ooh, studs are up though.
That's one of those things. If that's a
Ooh.
defender, if that's happening in a position where it's an attacker going for the ball and the defender's coming towards him, that they red card that a lot in Europe. I don't know if MLS would, but the fact that the ball was going, that he was coming back towards his own goal when he made that tackle. The referee's a little bit screened by it. All right, it's time for me to get refreshment.
All right.
It would be good if in the next 10 minutes or so you start seeing more pressure from the offensive side a little bit. They took a bit much of a break just to recover on defense there. A little bit of a high challenge, it looked like. Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, yep, got that high boot. I think that call earlier on Pedersen right in the beginning of the match, I think that's what they called on Pedersen as a high boot, and he kicked that ball straight into the arms of the DC United player. I would love to see that replay because I think that the ref called the high kick on Pedersen just so he didn't have to worry about calling the handball.
Oh, what are they calling here? What?
Well, that's a corner, right? Should be.
I thought that went off the DC United player's head, but it might have
So did
been.
I.
Was there an offsides in there? No.
He didn't give a corner? Wow.
That was weird. That was weird.
I thought he definitely headed it.
I mean, Hags didn't argue, so.
The only thing I can think of is that he headed it and it deflected off of Hags going back. I don't know. But he didn't argue too much about it, so I'm guessing it was an offside.
Oh, nice job, Sod.
Yeah, I think it was not. I think it was offside.
Oh.
One thing, FC Cincinnati struggles so much with their final ball. One thing that I always coach my players is that a cross really should just be a pass across the box, right? You're not just hitting it into the mixer, so to speak. And for it to be a pass, most of the time it should be on the ground. I think hitting a ball on the ground with pace across the box gives you a chance for a defensive deflection, gives you more control of what you're doing rather than trying to lift the ball onto a head or put texture on it. I think a guy like Zhao could really benefit from thinking in that term instead of trying to cross it, trying to really just drive it across there on the floor.
DC got a deflection handball on Medunjanin, but it's about 40 yards away. Easy clear.
Just feel like this is going to end 0-0 again. Just like the last time these two teams faced.
Definitely could.
Have the first game was all that they ever played against each other was a tie as well, right? I don't think either team has won.
No, they got beat pretty handily at Nippert last year with Rooney.
Yeah, it was like 3-1, I think.
That's right.
It was bad. I was actually there at that one. I remember that match very fondly because it took me an hour to get to the game from Florence, Kentucky. 45 minutes just to park.
Good move by Barriel here, drawing a yellow card and a breakaway. He probably had no business getting this ball back, but cut in front of the defender and
That's what I wanted Vasquez to do a moment ago.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Oh, yeah, I got clear grab.
He's good.
Yeah, good. I guess in this type of game, you just have to get your opponents to bleed yellow cards, and right now that's what they're doing.
What Barreal just did there in coaching lingo, we call that closing the door. As soon as you have half a step on your defender, if you can get in front of them, you've closed the door. The only thing they can do is foul you or run behind you. They have no play on the ball. It's really, really well done.
Okay, setting up a Meduninen shot outside the box. Taking a lot of time with this one. Way on the out. Oh.
Oh, we're getting spammed.
I fixed it.
Zhao doing the same thing again that Barreal did. Got a step behind behind Flores, and like Coach said, closed the door. He got in front of him again.
Nice.
I haven't seen the free kick yet. You mean they don't score here?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Kind of surprised that you get one yellow card from one grab there, and then with Zhao, he didn't get a yellow card from Flores in that.
I think it's the cynical nature of grabbing somebody's shoulder as opposed to trying to go for the ball, even though the going for the ball was much more dangerous.
Oh. No, nothing. Oh, boy, that was going in.
Jeff playing the role of Brad Weigel tonight.
You can kick me out anytime. I don't have that type of power.
Wow. That was a nice save, actually.
That was a weird one. Pedersen backheeled it, and it almost deflected in.
Wow.
The shot from Amayo was terrible.
Yeah, he scuffed that bad.
They almost saved something out of it.
That would have been a ridiculous goal if it went in.
Yeah, Pedersen would have been like, yeah, I was aiming for that the entire time.
So, after the first 10, 15 minutes when FC Cincinnati had most of the ball, DC United's pretty much dominated possession, right? And FC Cincinnati is now looking like they're growing back into it. So hopefully what I would love to see out of this team is go ahead and close this half out by dominating possession here, maybe create another chance or two. Be great if they got a goal, obviously. But even if they just go into the locker room feeling like, they're on the ascendancy, I think I'd be happy here.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing, they lead in shots. They lead in shots on target. Oh boy, I don't know what you did that for. Oh, what do you do? Oh no. Oh boy, what? Oh, you'll see it.
What?
You'll see it.
Are you serious?
Oh, wow. Wow.
That was not out. That was in. Oh.
Come on.
Bobby begging for VAR. Please let that be out of bounds. It was not out.
That was not. He knows it too. I don't know what you were thinking, Bobby. That was going out.
There was no deflection or anything, right? It would have just been a goal kick.
Yeah.
Did I missed something? Like literally just floating out of bounds.
Nobody was anywhere near him. Let it go out of bounds.
A really, really poor decision.
Oh.
Even the ref's laughing, like, I'm not overturning that.
Yeah, that's.
And you're not going to get a replay. There's no definitive angle because the camera angles at Nippert are terrible.
Yeah, the only way is if they had a goal line cam there, and they do not.
Yeah, they're pointing. Yep, it's good.
That is.
He was way out, and you're unfortunately with that angle, you're not going to be able to figure out if that's in or out.
I mean, what? Just let it go out of bounds. What are you doing trying to even catch the ball?
I mean, the one thing we can say is there's been a lot of people saying, oh, just let Teton and Richie go. Let's just go with Bobby Edwards and Ben Lunt. And I think this kind of shows that just grabbing a third string goalkeeper and sticking him in there and just expecting him to be as good as your one or two.
Yeah.
Where's his help? Where's his teammate saying, let it go?
I actually agree with Fly 89. After you see the slow play, I think it was out before he dropped it, before he threw it back in bounds. I think it was out, but again, you're not getting that replay. And in some ways you deserve that if you're going to try to save a ball that's going to be an easy goal kick by throwing it back into your own 6-yard box.
Yeah, that's.
Now you just got to hope the team settles down and rallies around the youngster and says, basically takes it upon themselves. Like, we got this, we got to pick him up. We can't let that be the game winner. Hopefully the team leaders, can get the team moving in the right direction right away.
It's funny. I don't think I remember there really being that type of gaff in from the goalies from FCC ever. I don't think we've had a gaff that big before.
I feel like if it was maybe Evan Newton or maybe it was Richie, somebody got megged or let a ball slip right through their hands or something. That's got to be a card. They didn't even call foul. Whoa.
I know. I couldn't believe that either.
The way 13 dove in there, I thought that was a card stone cold.
Boy, but DC are trying to hand it back to him. They've made some pretty weird. No.
Oh yeah, that's right. Fly in the chat room brought up Richie made a gaff against Sporting KC last year. At home, he gave up the tying goal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Megs, that's the one I was thinking of. Thank you, Fly. It is 1-0 to DC United. Rajawi.
Oh God. Wow. I've got this feeling that the whole watering the field is fooling with DC United a little bit. They've had a few passes where it looked like they had control of it and it just popped off their foot too fast and went out of bounds.
The match where Maddox missed a bunch of chances and hit the post. Oh, that one.
A match.
Oof.
Which one are you talking about? In the 42nd minute, is DC United 1-0.
Yeah, neither team really looking like they want to go out and dominate the match, right? It's been kind of back and forth. definitely DC United settled in and has had more possession in FC Cincinnati's defensive part of the field. But neither team looking like they deserve to be ahead at this point.
And now DC is just going to sit back. They're going to say, hey, beat us.
I'd be okay with that, to be honest. I mean, DC United's defensive record has not been good, so they're not exactly the type of team that can just bunker and kill off a match, as you saw against Philadelphia in their last match, right?
No, we do not miss Ledesma. Sorry.
Ledesma's doing fine where he is. He scored a goal for his new team in Finland.
So at this point, we're hoping just to get to the locker room down 1. Can't concede here.
Nope.
Yeah.
You got to get into the locker room and you got to get the guys, like I said, focused forward and saying, look, we've had these chances. We got to pick up our teammate. We got to make sure that is not the winning goal. This game, we don't deserve to be behind in this game. So let's go out and take it back. Those sorts of things. I don't know what substitutions you would make at half. To be honest, it's not like you have a guy on the bench that can come in and change the tide for you. And I don't see anybody playing terribly.
There's one. We got at least one, right?
Yeah, but you're not going to put Sunderland at goalkeeper for the second half. That would just destroy Bobby Edwards' confidence.
Yeah, you have him work at. I mean, he hasn't had a lot of shots on goal, so you have him, test out the waters with a few more shots. And
Frankie, that's a terrible giveaway.
I mean, I'm interested in your guys' thoughts. Do you think any FC Cincinnati player has looked really poor? I mean, nobody stood out as good either, but I don't think anybody's having just a terrible game or a terrible half that you'd pull them at halftime.
I don't think there's enough that you can see from some of the players. I think
you see that one.
A few times I've seen sort of Gutmann maybe struggle a little bit with some of the pressure on his side, but I mean, other than that, I think the defense is doing fine.
I don't know who Salam was heading that one to.
He lost it in the sun. Tubes.
Yeah, that's what it was. Matt's a big fan of the goalkeeping.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one. It is. That was a really, really poor decision. I hate to just absolutely flog him for it because he knows it was bad. He knows it was dumb. It's not like he's out there doing something stupid over and over again. But at the same time, I mean, when you have a team that's not scoring goals, making a mistake that gives the other team a 1-0 advantage is just really tough to swallow.
Yeah. 2 minutes for stoppage time right now. Yeah, I don't know who you can take off the bench right now. I mean, a lot of it is your only attackers are De Jong, Daly, and McLaughlin, really. Maybe this is a game you see McLaughlin come in.
I just don't know
how tired Joe Zhao is.
Yeah, I don't know what he would add at this point. Maybe late in the game. The only thing I could see is if you decided to put Daly on at half just to save to get fresh legs up top. I don't think you'd be losing much in quality, and basically allow fresh legs to press for 45 minutes without wasting one of your substitution windows.
I mean, in terms of fresh legs, at least this upcoming week, they don't have any midweek games. It's going to be the next one is at home against Minnesota.
Right. But I mean, just for this match, if you only have 3 substitution windows plus halftime, making a sub at halftime, in my opinion, as a coach, if you're not going to lose much in the way of quality, is almost a no-brainer. I don't expect Stom to do that. In fact, I would be shocked if he did. I just mean, going from your C string striker to your C minus string striker, but having him fresh for 45 minutes worth of pressing. In fact, Daly is probably fitter than Vasquez, just from the point of he's played a full season in USL, whereas Vasquez has just been getting spot starts in minutes. So
that should be halftime.
Yep.
I think the best thing you can do is just say, look, it was a one-time thing. Let's recover. Let's continue with the game plan that we had.
What just a crap goal to concede. They played. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say they played well, but they didn't play bad. Like that. Ugh.
They didn't give up any chances. That's the thing, right? FC Cincinnati didn't give up any chances other than the goal, which wasn't a chance either. I think that the same time, the reason why we're sitting here saying the team hasn't played well is they haven't really created many chances either. You've had some shots from distance, a header that was more sort of a half chance, that heel flick that was would have been a fluke if it went in. So those are the kinds of things.
All right, if you're watching us on the chat, we'd love your 3-word match reviews. While you submit those, I'm going to step away for a brief moment, Coach. Can you handle things? You got this?
Sure, I got it.
Man.
I'll just talk about beer. I got 16 ounces of #blessed New England IPA out of Street Side Brewery to keep me company tonight for the match. It's a pretty typical New England IPA. It's not too interesting. I mean, it is good, but it's just that typical kind of like orange rindy, got a bit of juice to it. Not terribly bitter. What bitter you do get tastes a lot like, the pith from the inside of an orange, that sort of a thing. So very typical for a New England IPA, but it's good. And I would recommend having one if you ever get the chance.
I think I'm going to probably go downstairs at some point. Maybe when Soups comes back, I'll get my own beer. Me being a Spurs fan, we are starting to have a lot more of our matches at Listerman's. I really like their lemon pound cake. Really good. Hints of lemon and vanilla in a sort of an American blonde ale. I might need it today.
For sure. I got a couple heavy listies in my fridge as well. I might have to go that direction after this.
Yeah, that's the tough thing about a Sunday night games is I don't typically dive into any sort of liquor cabinets at this hour. But I think I could probably crack one open. It's been a tough sports day, I think, in general for anybody that's from Cincinnati today.
And to be a Spurs fan on top of that, man, that was so ugly.
I haven't asked Clay's opinion or the Weigel's opinion, but I remember putting my phone down at 3-1, picking it up and realizing that, sort of like the what, I want to say that these things happen just because you take a look at what West Ham had done over the past few games, and they put a hurting on the likes of Leicester, and there was another team that they completely demolished. So, hey, I mean, you got to say that these games are going to happen. This wasn't an easy game.
Sure, but you got the Bengals blowing a 21-point lead, and you got Spurs blowing a 3-goal lead. All you need are the Reds to go out there and get shut out in a playoff game today, and be the Cincinnati trifecta here.
The Cincinnati trifecta would have been maybe a UC loss, but obviously, the UC game didn't happen this weekend. Yeah, but I will admit I am not originally a Bengals fan, so what happens with them sort of, while it has an impact in the household, I hesitate to say this, I am a Patriots fan. I'm already getting booed off camera. But they had just as bad a game today. You know, if you were able to watch the game today, you'd be shaking your head and saying, this is not what Bill Belichick does.
I hear you. I don't feel, I'm like the typical person that is not a New England fan, and that I will not feel bad for any misery New England faces for at least a decade, maybe 20 years. And then I'll start to feel like, man, I wish they could catch a break.
That was me when basically, I think of the 80s and part of the 90s. That's really how it happened. I mean, I grew up on the Bill Buckner era, so yeah. Halftime.
I'm just trying to look through some of the stats here and see if anything is standing out to me. I do think it's interesting that between the FC Cincinnati wingers, João and Barreal, there are 7 completed dribbles, which I think is pretty outstanding. I mean, 7 for an entire game out of your wingers would be a good day. So to have that in a half, I think is really good. But they need to continue to do that, and either maybe draw some more cards, or, just simply drawing the fouls is not helping unless we can get some better bite off of those set pieces.
Yeah, I mean, at least you look at one stat that they dominated is that they were able to draw those yellow cards late in that half, or halfway through that half. Maybe, if they put a little bit more pressure on Barrial's side, you get that second yellow to come through. It seems, though, that's not the way you want to play this game. You want to be able to score from any side.
Right. But having wingers like João and Barreal, both one on each side, both of those guys are 1v1 artists. I think you can go either direction. I think playing to get another yellow card would probably be a mistake, but knowing that you're already a good 1v1 player, and every time you see a guy on a yellow, taking him on the dribble, I think it's like in basketball when you dribble at the guy who has 4 fouls. I think that's just smart. You don't go out of your way to try to isolate that, but whenever it's there, you definitely go for it.
Yeah, that's a very good metaphor, and in terms of trying to, the guy that's in trouble, the guy that can't afford to foul, attack that portion.
Absolutely. One disappointment, I guess I would say, is our offensive touches for FC Cincinnati. You have your 2 wingers and your forward coming in at 17, 18, and 19 touches, which is not great. It's not completely atypical for offensive players to have fewer touches, but especially those wingers, you'd like them to get a lot more touches on the ball, even if it's just receiving the ball and then passing it off. The more they touch the ball, the more the outside backs feel like they need to come up and try to mark them tighter, which frees them up to get runs in behind and things like that. So I'd like to see that increase. We had a comment earlier. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, yeah. Dr. Darcy Kruger saying Vasquez really needs to develop a first touch. And that is one thing I agree wholeheartedly with. He has a lot of qualities that I like in a forward. And in fact, his dribbling and things on the ball for a big guy, I think he's really good. He's got a lot of agility and ability to cut the ball quickly. But his first touch to hold the ball up and bring teammates into is just absolutely abhorrent sometimes. How do you feel about Vasquez, Jeff? In general, I think it was hard to bring him in, and you had, flashes in the pan. A lot of his performance that I've seen have been more in the U.S. Open Cup performance with Atlanta. It feels at times I'm looking maybe at the same style of play that like a Josie Altidore plays, where he has his back to the defender and tries to play in that type of pivot, but I want to see him develop that what's the word I'm looking for? That final strike, that he gets that ball and that he's going to get this ball into the net. I don't feel that yet. Yeah, the ability to play on the half turn and find a shot that sort of a thing. The ability to be in the box and instead of just side footing a ball towards the keeper, cut that ball back and have a little bit of well, I'll call it street smarts, even though it's not really that, but that idea of what are you going to do when you're in that position, be able to really try to make something happen instead of just floating a ball towards the net. I agree with you there. I think it's so key for a center forward in the 4-3-3 to be able to play as a target in transition, that ability to receive the ball and one touch or two touch and bring your midfield into it, play on the half turn and link up with a winger, the kinds of things you see a guy like Harry Kane be able to do, where you drop in slightly. Josie Outdoor does a really good job of it, coming back and being part of the play and then playing off from there. And I think Vasquez's first touch just lets him down just an incredible amount in that way.
Up Harry Kane in this instance.
Even if I wasn't a Spurs fan, I mean, dude is, one of, if not the best center forward in the world. So,
yeah.
In terms of his overall passing, shooting, everything.
Yeah. Besides Subs, I mean, your team won this weekend, so give us a little bit.
At least one of my teams won this weekend. I'm watching the halftime highlights now. Man, I would love if Zhao would maybe not hit that right down the middle of the goal.
Yeah, he caught it well, but it was really right at the
just
keeper.
An easy save to make. I mean, that side foot there by Vasquez, like, come on, man.
They're showing that replay from Edwards, and there was nobody around him. He had to let that go. He knew that it was going out.
Let it go, or even go out with it with a corner. Like, concede the corner kick there.
Unless he didn't know where the post was. But if that's the case, I don't think that's legit. I think he knew where the posts were, and he just had a brain fart.
His left back should have been yelling, "Let it go," because he has a better angle on it. He could see that it's going to be going over the end line, not in. Oh.
Just shake it off. I'm going to get a little bit of my refreshment now. I'll be right back.
Go crazy. You need to step away, Coach. Feel free.
I'm okay. Yeah, that Edwards, I think that it would have been helpful for a left back to yell, let it out. I think the goalkeeper is in charge of the 6-yard box. The goalkeeper is the one communicating. He's standing on the goal line between the posts. He knows where everything is. He can see everything better than anybody. He needs to know when he's going up for that ball that he can catch it clean to try to start a counterattack, maybe if that's what he wants to do, or let it go. If there's any doubt in his mind, he's got to let it out. And I really just think it was what Jeff said, just a brain fart. You think you're going to catch it clean. You go up, and as you're going up, you realize you're kind of floating out of bounds. You're like, oh, I don't want to concede a corner. It all happens fast, and you just make the mistake.
I'd rather you concede a corner than that.
100%.
Hindsight's 20/20 there, but
absolutely. But again, hopefully Stam can turn this into a rallying point for the team, right? If the team, has their goalkeepers back, you want to pat the guy on the shoulder and be like, don't worry about it, man. We got you. We'll get this back. And that doesn't mean it's going to happen, but any way that you can try to, right? Any way you can try to turn this into any sort of a positive, right?
The thing is, like, they already have a hard enough time scoring goals. And when you make it that much harder on yourself by shooting yourself in the foot, then, yeah, I mean, they got to be sitting there in the locker room just like, now what?
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking, do I write a how they happened article? How do I diagram that goal? Like, see, I'll draw a circle. See this here, right here, where the goalkeeper tried to catch the ball and throw it back into his own 6-yard box to keep it from going out for a goal kick. Don't do that.
Yeah. That's going to be yeah. Oh, man.
Did you think, so obviously no player stood out as really good. Who would you put as the top performers for FC Cincinnati, Subs?
Barrio.
Yeah.
I thought he was probably, if I had to rank them 1 through 11, Barrio would be number 1. I think Zhao did okay. I thought Hagelin had a good half. Yeah, those are really my three.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I didn't see any of the three midfielders really do anything to put them on a list, moving up. But I think of the three midfielders, I think Frankie was probably the poorest performer. He had a few cheap giveaways, which is unfortunate. I don't know if the kid has just lost a bit of confidence or what. We saw him playing so well, and then he got pulled at halftime and then didn't play last match. And so is he going through a bit of a downturn in terms of confidence, or is he playing with some soreness or tightness, or what's going on there? It's something that we can't know, but it's interesting to me.
Any changes for FC Cincinnati here at half? They're on the field.
I don't see any changes.
From a tactical standpoint, I was telling Geoff, I think you tell Zhao and Barrial, which they were kind of already doing. Anytime you have a sniff at 1v1 against your outside back, go right at them, especially Barrial with the left back being on a yellow. I think
how many yellows did they have in that half?
Right now we have Assad has one, and I think the right back has another.
Well, it would have been the left back, right, when Barrial drew it?
Assad and Nyman.
Those are both midfielders.
Oh, okay.
Or a midfielder and a winger.
All right. So FC Cincinnati heading towards the Bailey in this half.
It'll be interesting to see if the team comes out with a little more energy and does a little bit more pressing. You saw right off the kickoff, Medunjanin charging upfield. I'm wondering if that's just like a tiny indication that the team is going to try to play a bit more on the front foot. Stam does this thing, which I do not know why, but occasionally he allows his center backs to push forward into the midfield as Medunjanin steps back, and I think it's to provide another option in the midfield as a passer. So with a guy with Hagelin and Pedersen, that'd be another interesting thing to see because they didn't do that at all in the first half. As Makocho drops back deep to the left, does Pedersen press up into the midfield a bit?
I liked all of that from Barrial except for the end product there.
Spoiler alert, they're starting to warm people up, and they showed Jimmy stretching out.
Yep.
I mean, it would be a good feel-good story to see him come in and, let's say, not the score, but I need some more positivity from the offense to feel that I can fit him in there.
Man, if he comes on, when was the last time he was on the field in Nippert?
Was the playoff game in 2018, wasn't it?
Nashville.
Yeah. Now, was it Nashville or was it?
I guess it could have been Red Bulls. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about Jimmy is he'll be a really divisive player if he comes on in this match. Half of FC Cincinnati land will be like, I'm just so glad we got to see him play, blah, blah, blah. And half of them will be like, what are you doing? Bringing a USL guy on when you're down 1-0, that sort of a thing.
Oh, wow.
I had my heart in my stomach from that one because teams seem to kill us on that cross there. So I'm kind of feel we got lucky that Flores didn't connect there.
Makocho kind of gave up.
Another slide.
Fly, I think that Jimmy would be really out of place as a forward. He's not really that kind of player. He's more of the kind of player who likes to receive the ball back to touchline and run at defenders. I'm not unconvinced that he can't be useful. If he is as good as he was when he got hurt, I am not completely convinced that he is not useful as an MLS, bottom of the roster guy who can get some good minutes at the end of a match or in cup games. I don't know that he'll ever be a key contributor at this level. Jimmy is one of those guys who like does some things pretty well. He's okay 1v1. He's pretty quick, but he doesn't have anything in his locker that you just think, but he does this great. This is elite.
I mean, he does it at an elite level for the USL, but not for MLS.
I'd even question that. Did you ever feel like in USL that Jimmy just dominated matches, like in any regard? I mean, I loved him as a player. I think he's a very good player. I just don't know that he was really that elite, going to really burn players off the dribble, or he's just pesky, just active.
I always saw him as like the sub that comes on and burns you for 20 minutes and forces you to realize that your defenders are exhausted.
Mm-hmm. Super sub at the end, yeah. Just bringing energy.
And I mean, we saw it at the game against the Fire. That's really the spark that he gave them in that U.S. Open Cup game, where it was he comes off, the other team realizes they're exhausted, and he just burns around you.
I think the worst thing about watching this and being so behind you guys is I see something good getting ready to develop, and I have to and then I'm like, oh wait, I can't be excited about this because nothing happens because neither of them said anything. So,
what's Alex reporting right now? I can't hear it.
I'll tell you. I'll turn my volume up because it's going to happen for me here in 30 seconds. It's talking about Bobby Edwards, saying that he's super humble and he's already hard on himself. So,
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we got somebody down on the field.
Saad Abdul Salam.
Yeah, it was just basically a feel-good piece about Bobby and how he's a good dude and he's, not somebody you have to ride and it's not too big for his britches.
He's looks like he's getting is it a hammy cramp? It looks like they're going to bring Bailey in.
Yep, there's the international symbol for substitution time.
Salam has his jersey up a little bit, covering his mouth. No. Yeah, he's coming out.
Looks like Daly is getting ready to come on too.
Yep. Well, that could mean maybe a formation change.
Or it could mean Jao goes to right back.
3 at the back.
Yeah, they brought in Daly.
I mean, who are you going to play as the third center back unless you drop like a lot of people have been wondering if Medunjanin can do that. I think it's maybe a 4-4-2. It'll be interesting to see.
Well, who plays right back? Jao? Looks like it.
Yeah, Jao is dropped in at right back right now.
Yeah.
What we all wanted to see. Todd Carnes is pulling his hair out right now.
But the question is does Vasquez go play a wing, or does Daly play a wing, or do they play 4-4-2? I mean, that's the question to me. And if they play 4-4-2, who's playing left outside mid?
Wouldn't it be Daly and Vasquez up top?
If they play 4-4-2, that's what I'm saying. If not, though, you have a wide left position. Either way, you have somebody who needs to move over wide left.
Well, it looks like it's Vasquez at the moment.
Looks like they have Vasquez over. I mean, this is a defensive formation, but it looks like they have Vasquez on the left. And at the moment, it's Amaya up front. But
where is Daly? I don't even see him.
He's right there running at the ball.
No, not on my screen.
Well, you're behind me, so.
Well, I literally there's only 9 blue players. Even I'm seeing the whole field here.
Oh, that's Makoto. Wait. I'm sorry, you're right. That was Makoto.
I don't think Daly is on the field yet.
That might be accurate.
Oh, that they might not have been able to make an actual sub yet. Here he comes. Yes.
Yep. Good call, Coach.
I was with you. I thought at first that Makocha was Daly, but I was like, why is Daly playing midfield? And then I realized that was a short guy.
So now we'll get a better idea what this formation is going to look like. That explains
see
a 4-4-1 with being down a guy.
right.
Yeah, they definitely have Zhao back on the right.
They're reporting a hamstring. Reporting a hamstring for Abdul Salam.
Yeah.
Still interesting. Even if they play 4-4-2, one of those three
Oh,
midfielders
no.
is going to have to shift
Terrence,
left.
what are you doing? Oh, my gosh.
Oh, boy. And you don't have good. Oh.
I like that run forward, but you got to do more with that. Oh, maybe I don't like that run forward.
That was good, man. That was the chicken with his head cut off, maneuver. He wasn't sure what to do with that ball.
He does well there, but then it's just last touch, just like, oh, Andrew. Bobby does well to come out and force the bad angle. I mean, thankfully.
DC United they're realizing that this formation is easy to strike against. They've been putting a lot of pressure onto Pedersen and Hagelin.
Oh,
I think it's just sloppy turnovers in the middle. Maybe what you're saying out of the build, maybe they're starting to press the center backs a little bit more. I'm still like, is Daly playing left wing? I'm still confused about this.
Oh, somebody just took a hard dive over the. That looked painful.
Continental Tire board.
He looks fine.
Yeah, he's fine. I think he's just looking for its contact after that.
Ooh.
Looks like Rashawn Daly is playing left wing, so that's an interesting.
To bring him on and not.
Yeah, people wondering how much Dom trusts Jimmy, I think shows you right there to bring on a center forward to play wing.
Oh.
Yeah, FC Cincinnati just can't get a foothold in the game. They can't put the ball on the floor and pass it around.
Oh, my goodness. Well, okay.
I think that
yeah, you know what part you're laughing about. Barriel giving up a regular pass. He telegraphed it like it was so easy to read.
Yeah, I think that Frankie's time on the field is probably limited. I would not be a bit surprised to see De Jong come on for Frankie here soon. I mean, the kid just hasn't really had it today. He hasn't done much. We haven't seen one of the things he's improved on a lot this year is dribbling through the lines. Haven't seen that at all today. We haven't seen him connecting play very much, getting a lot of touches on the ball. Definitely not opening up the field with any passing. Haven't seen him disrupting play with tackles.
What?
You say that, and then he sort of got a little. It looked to me like Frankie wanted to get that ball back in the worst way, and he might have stomped on someone's foot. Oh, I don't know if it was that or he might have. Oh, Frankie got him with an elbow.
Well,
I have gotten word from the field that De Jong is getting ready to come on. People watching live are probably like, what do you mean you're getting word from the field? We already saw that happen.
Right. Is he coming on for Frankie?
I don't know. I'm trying to find that out. I don't know that I can figure that out.
He's coming on for 15. Kamo.
Makocho.
Yeah.
So that'll see Frankie drop back deep, which is, I think, a better position for him, at least in this stage of his career. I wonder if Makocho is just feeling, after playing minutes when not being fully fit after not playing for so long.
Right.
He had I felt he looked good the first 15, 20 minutes of the game. And then it felt like he faded a little bit.
Wow.
The one thing the midfield can't do is slow down the play without Makocho out there. Makocho sets that tempo and keeps them hitting those balls and playing quickly. Harris and Frankie have to continue that. I wonder if Jimmy is going to be one of those guys who, when he's like 80, still looks the exact same. Just looks like a 18-year-old kid out there all the time.
Now playing for FC Cincinnati, Benjamin Button.
How does Joe Zhao have any energy? He's played so many minutes.
Yeah, he is nonstop.
He doesn't lead the team in minutes, does he? Who leads the team in minutes this year?
It was Waston. I don't know if Waston still does.
Probably not, because I think he had a game that he was off, and then last week he missed a game. So,
but who else on the team hasn't missed a game or 2 or 5?
Medunjanin? No.
Well,
Harris had that stuff because of yeah, exactly. Wonder if that's something we can find out easy enough.
Yeah, we can. I'm on it.
I've been really, really unimpressed with De Jong. I actually said in my podcast, those of you listening live, if you're not subscribed to Talking Tactics with Coach Goff, you got to go get that. Get at it now. I said in this past podcast that I'm just done with him. I mean, he doesn't add anything. I feel like when he comes on, he's a guy who's supposed to be really good playing the ball at his feet, good passer. We haven't seen him unlocking defenses. We haven't seen him pinging really great long passes. Any chance that he's had on goal has been like a 60-yard hopeful strike that he happens to catch sweet, which, fine. He can hit a ball. We have a lot of players who can do that. I just haven't seen anything out of him that makes me think that he's the kind of player that can add anything to FC Cincinnati. And I say that hoping that he proves me wrong, because lots of times I'm made to look stupid when I say things like that. So I'll be happy to look stupid here. That DC United counterattack really starting to click. Just 3 passes and they're in the attacking third. If they're feeling good in the 63rd minute, up a goal. This isn't a position they've been in a lot lately.
Wow, the stats on the MLS's page do not make it easy for you to search.
I would be surprised if it was Kubo, maybe.
With the leading minutes?
Yeah.
That could be. He had a couple matches where he started on the bench.
It's not even a stat that they're showing on the MLS website. Hang on. I figured it out. Took me a minute.
They got Ole Kamara's coming on for DC United.
Kendall Wasson, your leader in the clubhouse with 1438. Joseph Claude Giao with 1346.
So he's still not going to catch him this match, though. Unless that's 1346, 1438. I guess if that was not up to date at all, if he plays 90 minutes today.
Right. Oh, they're bringing on Ola Kamara. We're bringing on Rashawn Daly.
You know, Daly is a guy who I thought in his limited exposure last match looked a lot better than what we saw of him when he was with the first team before he got loaned out. Now, that's not saying a lot because he looked pretty dreadful then, but his movement I thought was much better, much crisper. I thought his touch looked better. So I'm hopeful that his loan stint has helped him improve enough to where he can actually add something. But the difference between bringing on a guy like Ola Kamara and Rashawn Daly, I think, is still
pretty telling.
Pretty telling. Which is what I said in the beginning when we were talking about on paper who should win this match. Like really on paper, if you just look player for player, FC Cincinnati, DC United has no business being as poor as they are for the players that they have.
I mean,
FC Cincinnati. God.
You see DC's attack, and really, is it mostly just Kamara there? I mean, you got Flores maybe who's able to patrol the field.
They got Gressel playing on the wing. I mean, they have good players. I don't know. I just think I'm really, you have 25 minutes left to score a goal here. You really haven't threatened the goal at all, and the team still seems to be playing so slow. Everything's 2 and 3 touches, taking time to look up and survey the field. And I'm not saying play so quick.
I'm biting my tongue.
Oh my God.
You don't need to. Subs, is it?
Chris,
is it Seam? It's going to be Seam.
No, Seam took a shot. Sights, and Vasquez picked it up. 1-1.
That's what I was saying earlier about making that ball hit the turf. Make the goalkeeper pick it off the floor. It's much more difficult. It was a spill from Sights, but that was not nearly as bad as Edwards is.
It's bad in the sense that Sights has to get over it now with 24, 25 minutes left in the game. Edwards has had a half to sort of let it sink in and reset himself.
Yeah.
Well, Jack Stern's not going to turn on this video to educate goalkeeping.
Yeah,
Right.
burn the videotapes, and I think after this game you want to burn the videotape period for everything.
All right, well, I mean, now we're back in it. Thanks to Sem de Jong.
Game on.
Game Dion, Sem Dion.
Yeah.
You know who else I think's just been absolutely terrible and hasn't done anything? Rashawn Daly. He doesn't even deserve to be wearing the jersey.
What are you talking about? He's the Bruno Fernandes of the USL.
Oh, here we go. Wow.
I had to get that in, Soup. Sorry.
That's fine. That's all right.
Oh, yeah. That was a goal from open play, too.
Yeah.
Hey, right.
I mean, that doesn't happen. Crazy. Be exciting to go back and watch that goal and see all the little parts. Obviously the shot and then Vasquez being there to mop it up was important, but what led to the opening there?
Oh, that was a terrible touch from Rashawn Daly.
You say that, but wasn't it Daly patrolling the left there and then bringing it back to De Jong?
Yeah, Daly cut it into De Jong. De Jong made some space. That's why Daly's a center forward, not a winger. You see that dribbling, that 1v1 action.
That donkey touch.
Oh, boy. Hagelin almost snuck in another goal.
Oh, yeah. He didn't know much about that one.
That was a mistake. That was an accidental goal, I think.
Hagelin didn't even know anything about that. It deflected off of like 4 different legs.
It deflected off his last.
Right. All right. Well, look, I'll tell you what. The last 5 minutes, that feels like the orange and blue have been more on the front foot a little bit. They've got to do a little bit better job of handling the press from DC.
Absolutely. Turnovers in that middle to defensive part of the field, that has to stop.
There you go, Barrial.
I'll get some people up there.
Good hold-up play from Vasquez.
I feel like you guys are even further ahead of me than you were.
I'm at 69-20.
I'm at 69-33 now.
Yeah, Stubes, you're 15 seconds ahead of me now. It was just like 10. I don't know what happened.
Is that a giveaway from DeYoung?
Yes.
One good thing followed by another bad.
Again, even his good thing, that's kind of what I was saying. He cut inside, had a lot of space, and he hit a shot right at the keeper. I mean, he struck it well. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the kind of thing you use an international spot and a near DP salary, high TAM guy, you know. But like we said, when we're talking about momentum, we talked about that before the match kicked off. You know, any momentum's good thing. You got to favor FC Cincinnati in terms of momentum going down the last 20 with having clawed back to even this game up.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
That was a bad call. I thought that was Medunian getting ready to bump out for the follow-up play, and he...
Well, that's soft.
Felt like he just gave him like a little bit of an arm.
He didn't even really give him an arm. He just kind of stood there.
Yeah, it felt like the defender, the DC United player rubbed his face against him.
Right.
Dangerous spot here.
You know, if DC's smart, they would float that ball out of bounds and see if Bobby tries to keep it in for him.
Coach.
I hate
Sorry,
to say
too
it,
soon?
but that's exactly the play that happened.
Whoa.
They went wide of the net, and Edwards went after it.
The post actually. Yep.
Yeah. We've got a substitution for DC United. Paredes in for Flores.
1 minute do we see Jimmy?
The 19th hole.
You think and we want to take any wagers, make any wagers?
I say you don't see him.
I think smart money would be on not seeing him just because playing the odds anyway. I think the fact that Daly came on, you know, Daly, a USL loanee, came on to play wing, which is not his normal position, I think kind of says all you need to know. In my mind, Jimmy comes on if, you know, this game is out of hand and Stom wants to give him a run out as a thanks for your service.
Did you see that pass from Medunian?
Not yet. Now I did. And again, Vasquez's hold-up play just leaves a lot to be desired. Flicks it out with the outside of his boot and just hopes somebody can run onto it.
Finally, we're seeing a little bit of Joe Zhao.
Yeah, as much as I like the idea of Zhao being able to play right back, it really does limit a lot of what he's best at, which is running at defenders. You don't get to see right backs in space running at defenders that often unless you really cater your offense around that. Does that mean that Vasquez has more goals for FC Cincinnati than Fernando Adi did now?
Ooh.
Or did he tie him maybe?
I think it's either tied or they're close.
Does he have 2 or 3? 2, right?
I think he has 2.
I think he has 3 now, doesn't he? He scored against. Wait,
I think he has 2. We didn't have that much to begin with.
he scored against Red Bulls. I'm sorry. He scored against NYCFC.
Yeah, he didn't score against Red Bull. He assisted for Cruz.
Didn't he have a header against the Red Bulls?
Was it that game that they won a few weeks ago?
Or maybe he had a goal, but it was chalked off. Right. Adi only scored 1 in MLS play, and that was against the Fire.
Oh yeah, that game winner.
That was his only goal in MLS. The other one was in a cup game. So he definitely has more MLS goals.
Well, that's more goals than he has as a Columbus Crew member.
I see you, Joe Zhao. Good work.
Again, I just seeing what Rashawn Daly's done already. He's had more positive plays in this match than he had in all of his FC Cincinnati career prior to going on loan, right? I mean, that's good. It shows that he can grow.
He has as many goals for FC Cincinnati as Fernando Adi does.
No kidding. Well, good for him.
Apparently, Stam is barking at De Jong in Dutch. He's really getting into him.
Really?
Who knows what he's saying?
That might be why, because that was a terrible cross.
Say what you will, though, he did hustle back and disrupt that play.
Yeah, he did. Oh boy.
What time are you guys at?
Hey, Brian. We're at 75-25.
I'm at 75-15.
75-45.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, 75, 52, 53.
Jeff is over the air.
How you doing, Jeff? Me too. How you doing, pal?
I'm glad De Jong hustled back there, but when you hit the first man on a cross and lead to a transition, that's not a good job hustling. That's a you better hustle.
Yeah.
I love
maybe that's why he was yelling at him in Dutch.
Could be. Run
your ass off, or else you're going to be in quarantine for a very long time.
How about Seam? You are too good to be not turning your hips on a cross. Like, that's basic stuff that we teach our kids. I don't know. Ooh. He's dead to me now.
Where was that one?
So I can't wait to ask the question tomorrow night to Gerard and I camp. We've been questioning all year, the purpose of Harris Medunin and Sem de Jong. And, we've seen Harris and what he can bring to the table. And with Makacho, I think he's excelled a little bit more. But Sem, I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. I think that we've seen all we need to see out of De Jong, unless he's playing with some injury we didn't know about, or even that. It's tough to see.
What's that, Bobby?
Oh, get out of there.
I think Bobby's in his head.
Who's in the chat tonight? We got Tom. How we doing, Tom? Cliff. How we doing, everybody? Doing well. Fly 89.
I do think Bobby seems really uncomfortable with the ball at his feet, like he's panicking a little bit. You see him even slipping and falling almost every goal kick he takes. It's he doesn't seem all that comfortable out there.
Does everybody like the petting zoo that was displayed on my desk right here?
Nice.
Got a rhino. Another rhino. This is why it's all great.
It's a good outlet ball there.
So you got I see you have a mini bobblehead of Teton there right in front of your computer.
Just watch the TV.
That's Teton, the baby giraffe. It looks exactly like Teton.
Oh my God.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Poor Bobby.
Oh boy, where is Gutmann?
Yeah, that wasn't Bobby's fault. At least that. I mean, he made the first save. You would have liked to see him push it wider there, but it was a terrible giveaway in the midfield. And then,
who gave the ball away, Frankie?
Oh, it was Gutmann.
Gutmann was, yeah.
Hey, Mama Soups, how you doing? Your favorite son's here.
And then you see a hesitation from Gutman when he's tracking back. Right when that shot goes, you see Gutman kind of pull up, and you just wonder if he runs through that all the way. Does he get that first touch?
I love Jeff getting all serious now, taking off the tie, getting into the game. 10 minutes to go.
Yep.
Did we do the third sub yet?
No.
Line change.
I mean, right now I am maybe 5 minutes from going full Jerry Tarkanian and just biting on a towel.
Oh, come on, man.
I don't think that Daly does the appropriate work for that wing role.
Oh, coach disagrees. He's been impressed with him.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I do not think that he is a winger in any sense. I am saying I see clear improvement in the player over what we saw of him last year. And that makes me happy that, you know, he went on loan and he grew a little bit. It's not just a lost cause, that he has improvement in him.
I'm seeing it as he has a finger just wide enough that can stop the hole in the dike. There are too many leaks in the offense for him to make a difference.
Oh, you got to see this play at 80-25. They call foul on. Okay, they screwed up. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think I agree with you. I think that's a great assessment that he's just good enough to be like the fourth striker / like sixth winger on your team. I don't know. I'm interested to see what this cat coming over from was it Hoffenheim?
It's coming from Hoffenheim, but he's Croatian.
Is he? That's what I thought. It didn't seem like a German name. Barrial. Love him. I just think he runs out of gas early.
Yeah, I don't think Daly is there yet to be even a third striker, really. Maybe a third striker, but he's not there yet to be a contributor. I just mean when he got loaned out, I was like, good riddance, man. I don't know why you keep him around. He had shades of Endom for me. I'm just thinking, like, what's the point?
Is that a corner?
Oh, wow.
The fact that he improved just makes me feel a bit better about that. Maybe he is a player for the future still.
Sure.
I look at it like you might get something for him, but when they said that he made the team this year, I'm like, wow, really?
Who's the striker? The guy for Atlanta. He was with Columbus forever, or for a couple years. Oh, my dude.
Tommy.
No. It's he's the starter against
Adam John.
Adam John. So that's why I think like Daly's ceiling is.
That's right. John is with Atlanta, but didn't he injure himself or something? Or?
Well, he's always been like a friend. Like he's always been that third or fourth guy that they're always been comfortable. God, Gutman. They've always been comfortable loaning out. But like, you know, if we need him to start in a pinch, like we'll be okay. That's what I think his ceiling is. I mean, he's 24, right?
Yeah. I mean, he was an older player to come out of the draft. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, this turf. Something's going on with this turf tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like how slow our pace of play has gotten, Coach.
I agree 100%. I was worried about that when Makocho left the match, and it seems like it's slowed way down. Everybody taking multiple touches.
Yep. Frankie doesn't do it for me right now. I like Frankie, but he's not the guy to cycle it through and cycle it up the field. So you're having to rely on either Hags or Madunanen launching a long ass ball to one of the wingers.
And even Madunanen, for his passing quality, he's not a high speed of play guy. He's a put your foot on the ball and slow thing down kind of guy.
Well, we're racking up possession stats right now.
Yeah, we are.
Until this.
Oh boy.
Whoa, look at this. Pedersen getting into the attack.
Feels
how far back am I?
I'm at 83-40.
It It feels like DC United is content to let the field be their 12th guy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, both teams are sliding all over the place, but DC is sort of content that they're up. They're like, look, if we don't have to run at the ball, then we're just going to sit back. We're going to let
Yeah. God, 2021 can't come fast enough.
2022 can't come fast enough.
I feel better about our chances next year. Significantly better, because I think we got 3 of the 4 attacking pieces that we need right now, that we need to like be like an average team.
I agree with that. I don't feel good about, like, somebody asked the question, what do we need? How many pieces do we need to be firmly in the playoffs? And I'm like,
A lot.
you know, we need 14 players to be firmly in the playoffs, but
Well,
to be a lot better and to be like reasonably expected to be competing for a playoff spot, I think we're 2 players away, maybe 3.
So, Coach, this is one question I was going to ask tomorrow. Is I think that we better not just be subbing in Zico Bailey and that's it. I think we need to bring the floor of our roster up still more and more. And I think, you need a 10. Like, De Jong's not it. You need a 10. You need a 10 that's mobile and they can play at the speed.
Why?
Imagine, like,
what are we doing?
They're bringing Bailey in
for Barrial. You're going to put Zhao back up
That
top.
means Zhao pushes up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
you've seen everything what's happened here. As soon as Zhao dropped back, the pace of play, along with McCutcheon leaving, died.
Yeah, and I mean, and Barrial is running out of gas. So, I mean, if Zhao still has the energy, which who knows, but if he does, then...
Oh, shit. Oh, thank God. 85-35, you're going to see Dolly make a great defensive play. Ish.
So somebody asked which 3 players I think they were addressing.
Zhao, Barrial, and Locadia. I think we're good up top there.
Are 3 of the 4 players?
That's what mine are.
Yeah.
I think you could throw 10 there and in between those 4, and then still even include Kubo in one of those wide roles and rotate the 3 wingers and be fine. Imagine if you could bring one of those 3, start 2 of them and bring one of the 3 in as a sub.
That's where I am.
Love it. But Kubo, you just have to get out of your mind. Kubo is not a DP. He's not a DP player.
Right.
He's a high allocation money player.
Yeah, exactly. I think that I would include Kubo on that list. I think having Zhao as a guy to come off the bench at the 60th or 70th minute. I think Zhao just that really suits him best. He is a guy who can eat up a lot of minutes, so I don't doubt that.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
But no, it's okay. I would just say those 3 players. Locadia is still the one that the jury's out so much for so many people, but quality wise, you can tell he has the quality to be a center forward.
I think if we had Locadia in these last 2 games, I think we'd have more goals because the possession with the relevant like attacking possession, the chances created. I think
we'd have more goals, or do you think we'd have more near misses?
Oh, that's dirty, Coach.
It's a stat somewhere.
Oh, Dally with a half. I mean, it didn't mount anything, but he had a half decent cross. Oh, so close. Sorry, I'm ahead of you guys. I apologize.
Yeah, you're way ahead. Oh, nice saw it.
Nikki Haggs. I don't think we're that far off. We just can't lose this game. This is giving away points.
Oh. Going for the Mark McKenzie.
So, Coach, tell me if I'm wrong here, okay? I was watching, 60 minutes of this game on my phone. Kevin and Tommy were saying that they felt that we were in control for 15 minutes and then had been just chasing after the game. I didn't think we were awful, though. Like I thought we were, take their goal out, I thought we were even. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was close to even. I said at half that I thought that neither team deserved to be ahead. I thought it should have been 0-0. Okay. And I think when you look at that, I think that would put this match at 1-1 now. Because, I mean, that goal that scored was literally out of nothing. It was a terrible free kick floated in. Mm-hmm. You can say that the keeper, the DC keeper, made a mistake for the FC Cincinnati goal. but that was at least a low, hard shot that he had to deal with, right? The first DC United goal was literally out of nothing. So 1-1 is probably a fair score. I don't think that FCC's been chasing the game. That said, the second part of the first half, I do think that DC United took control of the game a bit more and had more of the possession, especially in the offensive third, and kind of put FC Cincinnati on their back heels. So maybe that is what Kevin and Tommy were talking about.
I feel like we just have this massive hole in between, like, the back line and our attackers.
I'm not really enjoying watching us hoof the ball forward and hoping.
It's because there's no 10 on the field. We got allegedly 2 guys who can play 10 on the field, and neither of them are doing anything. Oh, no.
It's amazing how, like, Pico feels like the best player in the field right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely shows he's got some pace.
4 minutes added.
Tells me he's probably
maybe 5.
Spikes are like the driest. That's the way I see it.
Well, with
Darcy
being hurt,
Darcy
going to start.
Dr. Darcy Cian is still there. He's kind of moved into the middle of the attacking 3 of the front 3. Hageland.
You got to think Zico starts on the next match. Next Sunday.
You don't have anybody else?
Unless the Plan's back.
Time.
Unless the Plan gets healthy, but I doubt it.
Everything I've seen from Bailey says that he can play an MLS match. I'm not saying that he's your long-term starter going into 2021, but
Well, that's a handball.
there's a 0 chance that I would roll DePlan back out there instead of Zico. I mean, Zico's done a fine job.
Well, we're allowed to buy off one contract next year. Might as well. The plane. It's the plane now, allegedly.
I don't know.
So
I even said that before we started, and I was like, he was an Alan Koch guy. Maybe Stom doesn't rate him.
We need a header.
I don't think that's the case because Stom played him as the right-sided center back all that time. He was playing as the right-sided center back even when Pedersen and Vanderwerf were both healthy.
Well, if you got a guy for 2.5 more seasons. Oh shoot!
Could you move him on? Could you sell him?
No way. We'll give him to Richmond.
now that's low, man.
Maybe he can go play with
he meant
Ledesma.
AFC Richmond on Ted Lasso.
I guarantee you that Lou City would love to have him. He
Maybe
could take over for Pat McMahon.
He could go play in Finland or someplace like that.
Yeah.
One of those.
Ledesma scored again, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Oh, Frankie. Oh, that was clean. They didn't call that. That was amazing. Oh, of course.
That was clean?
Yeah, I can't believe that. He killed him. Saad's like, do you see the gash in my leg?
It didn't feel like it was clean. It felt like it was oops, and then it hit his foot to get out.
Oh, Gutman, golly. I hate to say this. I'm okay with him leaving.
At least give him a very bad mark tonight. He has not looked good.
Not a good night.
Can't cross the ball. Cross the ball.
Second goal felt like it was on him.
Oh, time wasting. Yellow card. Love it. Oh, no, I don't think any spot on this back line is safe next year.
I hope not.
Waston, I don't know how much he's on. If he's got a year left, as long as we're not losing again, like when things are a lost cause, he can be an absolute terror in a locker room. You saw it in Vancouver, but I think he's been okay here. So I don't mind having him.
I'm okay with having Vanderwerf around. I think he's all right. I just want him to stay healthy and, be a good piece with his other partner.
Damn it. I picked a 1-to-1. Go ahead.
I think Vanderwerf, Pedersen, Haglund, I think all these guys are good pieces. I don't think any of them are good enough to be in pen in your starting lineup.
Brian, you had a 1-1.
I did.
This is a 1-1 game. If it wasn't for it's just an absolute howler.
I picked 1-1 too.
Oh boy.
1-1 also, I guess I should say.
Shoot, I'll say something off air to y'all. It's so funny. Oh man! So apparently Daryl Grove is in hospice care of the Total Soccer Show.
No.
Oh man,
That sucks. Prayers to him and his wife and his family.
absolutely.
He came on. He's been on Cincinnati Soccer Talk. Taylor Rockwell, his cohort's been on Cincinnati Soccer Talk several times. Good friends. They love Grippos.
Where'd you see that at?
Ken put it in our Slack. I'm sure it's on our in their you fund me or whatever they call that thing. Go fund me. All right. A minute to go. No, 20 seconds to go.
One last play.
Joe Burrow drops back, throws a pick. Golly. 4, 3, 2. Ready for that whistle.
Yeah, this isn't like the Toronto match where I could try to make lemons out of lemonade or make lemonade out of lemons, saying a 1-0 loss to Toronto. I mean, losing at home to DC United, coming off a win. I think this definitely feels like a kick in the teeth.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think I said it in our Slack that we had exerted. No, there's the final whistle. We exerted so much just heart and energy in that game versus Columbus that with the injuries and short turnaround that this was going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kubo was a huge miss for two reasons. Number one, Kubo as a free winger, a guy who can play on the left but really go anywhere, I think was really dynamic against Columbus. And then number two, it gives you one really good attacking piece to bring off the bench to change a match. If Zhao came in at half or at the 60th minute mark to change this match instead of having to start and then move to right back and then move to right wing, how much does that change things? So I think that Kubo, one injury turns into two misses in that way.
Sure. I agree with you. Oh, man, that sucks. Well, Jeff, I love you to death, but sorry, you're a bad luck and you're not allowed on again.
You're not allowed back on.
I'm joking, big guy.
That's all right. I've got a bed to go into tonight. I'm okay with it.
We love you, Jeff.
Sleep in a guest room, so yeah.
Well, before you go,
yeah,
give us your 3-word match review, Jeff.
Replace the turf.
There you go.
And I don't mean, pulling it up and putting on brand new turf. I mean, replace the turf with grass. I mean, I think we're seeing where both teams were afraid to really go all out because of this. And I wouldn't be surprised if the turf itself was one of the reasons that you see Bobby Edwards having that issue.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Well, that's only a few more games. It'll be grass before you know it.
Yeah, sign a 10. Please. Oh, well.
Well, Jeff, we appreciate you being on the show.
You're the man, Jeff.
Coach, I appreciate you as well. Bri, tomorrow night should be fun.
Allegedly, I'm getting these text messages from Ken Hecker, like sweating bullets after his rant last week. And he's like afraid that like Gerard's going to attack him.
No.
So I can't wait to see this.
That's not the case.
I'm just going to be like, I'm trying to go to Jungle Gyms and maybe find like a, not Danish,
Dutch
beer from Holland. That's it. A Dutch beer. And like, hey, Gerard, have you heard of this? And he's going to be like, that's like Milwaukee's best of Holland.
It's like Foster's Australian for piss.
Oh, boy.
It should be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you one thing. I don't know when we're going to set off here. We didn't hang our heads tonight. We kept pushing.
No.
And I think we've turned a corner. I really think we've turned a corner. So,
I mean, we could have easily, gone backwards after that first half goal, but sometimes you get the lucky strike as well. They just could not put the second one in.
Yeah, if you want to look at positives, I mean, scored from open play. That's a good thing. That's something that the team has struggled to do. Both goals that were scored against FC Cincinnati tonight were like singular breakdowns. They weren't systematic problems of people just being terrible at life or terrible at their jobs, right? There's 2 one-off mistakes. Gutman typically doesn't make those types of turnovers. Our goalkeepers, FC Cincinnati goalkeepers, typically don't make that type of error. So, I think better things are ahead. It's just tough for a fan base that's had to deal with so many losses to then lose to the bottom of the table, team.
All right. I think on that note, we will wrap things up here. Thanks to everybody who tuned in live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We hope you'll join us tomorrow night at 9:00 when we have a sit-down conversation with FC Cincinnati General Manager Gerard Nightcamp.
Interrogation.
So for Brian Weigel and Coach Brad Goff and Geoff Tebbetts, our special guests tonight, I'm Subes. Watch your tackles. We'll see you all tomorrow night.